Welcome back to the Thom Hartmann program. I am Alex Lawson, filling in for Thom, and I am joined on the line right now by Ron Pollack, the founding executive director of Families USA, and a Hillary Clinton supporter. And Ron, thanks so much for joining us here on the Thom Hartmann program.
Delighted to be with you, Alex.
So, Ron, I know you and I worked together back in the Healthcare for America Now days, trying to pass Obamacare. And, you know, I think Obamacare, you know, I'm a single payer guy, so I want to get to expanding Medicare for everybody, but Obamacare, increasing people who have access to insurance and to actually be able to take care of their health is an amazing thing. But I do think there was one, you know, there was a few things that I would have liked to get more of the public option. Maybe we get another chance at that. But the one thing that I really wish we'd taken more of a shot at was drug prices. And that's why I'm really heartened right now that there is a large discussion going on. Hillary Clinton has put out two very detailed and very good plans at driving down drug prices. And there's a lot of discussion on the Hill. There's a lot of interest right now in taking on these out-of-control drug prices. So I just wanted to you know, hear what you think about the plans and the prospects of actually getting this done.
Well, there's no question that increasingly people are in both on Capitol Hill, opinion leaders, and certainly the key interest groups in health care, whether they're consumers or hospitals or physicians, are feeling that prescription drug prices are out of control. And so it has become a higher priority. It is not easy, frankly, to pass meaningful prescription drug price legislation because pharma, the association that represents the various pharmaceutical companies, is very powerful, has a lot of money, and a lot of influence. But I do think that there is a confluence now of folks who are saying enough is enough, and we've got to do something to get prices under control. And you are right. Hillary does have a series of plans. They're very thoughtful. That would play a significant role in trying to decelerate and lower prices. So I think it is going to get increasing attention on Capitol Hill over the next, starting next year.
So I want to, we don't have to go all the way through political strategy and stuff, but I'm going to play a little bit in there because it's interesting, and Thom's listeners love this stuff. I've had a bunch of callers. Now, I'm the executive director of Social Security work, so I spent all yesterday on the show talking about Social Security and high drug prices, so that carries into today. But drug prices have come up over and over again because they are out of control. And there is actually going to be an attempt in the lame duck by the Republicans to push forward a bill, the 21st Century Cures Act, that is that actually extends exclusivity or these monopolies that the pharmaceutical corporations use to price gouge. And you know why Mylan could actually, that wasn't by patents, but why Shkreli could increase the price of the drug that he didn't create it, he bought that patent. This bill would actually make those things worse. So there's going to be a fight in the lame duck, but I think they've wildly misestimated how fierce the resistance is going to be. You named a lot of the actors involved, and the organization I lead, Social Security Works, we also fight very strongly on against high drug prices because, you know, I go out to 1.2 million people by email, and I ask them, these are folks, primarily seniors, those on fixed incomes who've been with us on the Social Security fight, do you want to take on high drug prices? And unsurprisingly, we got 99% back yes. So we're going to take it on in the lame duck, and we got to play some defense there, make sure bad things don't happen, but also send a strong signal into next year that we need to do a lot on drug prices. And I think we need a two-prong approach. And Secretary Clinton's plans have also telegraphed a two-prong approach because there are some things that are going to move on the Hill, so-called must-pass pieces of legislation. But it is hard to get new legislation against pharma, who are basically built out of money, and they spread that money around in this town. But there are some executive actions that can be taken against drug prices as well. And I've been really excited to see some of the plans that Secretary Clinton has put forth in response to the Mylan outrage that could actually be done through executive action.
Well, I think we're going to see a series of ideas considered, in no particular order. The kinds of things that Secretary Clinton has included. She wants to place a limit on out-of-pocket costs that people have to pay for prescription drugs. She wants to make sure that drug companies spend a higher proportion of their expenditures on research and development as opposed to marketing and advertising, administration, and profits. She wants to stop corporate write-offs for direct-to-consumer advertising that often promotes drugs that are actually not therapeutically better than what people are using right now. She wants to make sure that the FDA, federal, has better opportunities to approve in a quicker basis generic drugs so that they can compete with brand name drugs. She wants to reduce the monopoly marketing period for biologics, which are the most expensive drugs and are going to consume an ever-growing part of drug costs for everybody. She wants to make sure that the brand name drug companies don't continue to have abusive practices that prevent competition from enabling competition to help to put downward pressure on costs. Ultimately, she does want to have Medicare have greater authority to negotiate for lower drug prices. So I think there are a host of things. Some of these are more difficult than others politically, but I think we're going to start seeing action on this in 2017.
I couldn't agree more. And, I think there's also an understanding by both in the campaign and on Capitol Hill and around Washington, D.C. First of all, there's a broad understanding outside of D.C. that something has to be done. But I think there's this burgeoning understanding that there are a lot of powers that currently exist that could be directed against some of the abusive tactics of the pharmaceutical corporations. I mean, just the FTC alone can at least look into some of the practices around, say, the price of insulin, and there's some cartel-like behavior going on there. And at the very least, that when these President Obama had a executive order in I think April of this year, directing all agencies to ensure to increase competition and to crack down on anti-competitive behaviors. And we're seeing across the board in the pharmaceutical industry very anti-competitive behaviors, like Mylan, for example, with the hiking the price of EpiPen, and the only thing they hiked faster than the price of EpiPen was the payments of their CEOs and of their CEO. So I do think that, there's all the policies that you listed. Those are all things that are going to be pursued. And then there's also, directing agencies to take the actions that they can on using existing authority. And all of that, to me, says that next year is really a year where we're going to be able to accomplish something on drug prices.
Well, and remember, there's a great deal of concern overall about spending on public health programs, whether it's Medicare or Medicaid. And now the rise in prescription drug prices is playing a significant role in increasing those costs without providing better health care for people. So for the taxpayer, this is very important. Insurers feel that
Ron,
this is playing a significant role in terms of premium rises. So I think there are a lot of different interests here that come together.
I agree completely. Ron Pollack, Executive Director of Families USA. Thank you for calling in to the Thom Hartmann program. Let's make some action happen on drug prices next year. You're listening to the Thom Hartmann program. I'm Alex Lawson, filling in for Thom, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann.